Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live. You are live. And welcome to another wonderful afternoon out in the bush. My name is Ellie, and on camera with me today I've got Seb, and we are finding animals, I hope soon enough for all of you. We're actually looking on the very last position of a beautiful female leopard and her cub that Tristan had this morning. Tristan is one of the other rangers, so hopefully we'll have good news for you guys a little bit later. We've just started looking for them, and I'm sure that as soon as we find any tracks or anything, we'll be trying to find them and hopefully show them to you guys. We had quite an exciting morning out there, so why not? I hope that all of our good luck is going to carry on into the afternoon. That would be pretty amazing. Now, if you've got any questions or any comments that you want to send through, please feel free to use them using the hashtag Safari Live, and we would be more than happy to get back to all of you, including any questions that you might have. We are having a school drive today. Skillum Elementary as well as a VB Digital Learning Center Summit are with us today. So, if you've got any questions, please let us know. And I think they had them down here. So let's just go and have a look into the bush. See if perhaps, if our good luck carries on and they have decided to stay exactly where they were. While I look for them, let's go over to my friend Byron, who wants to say hello after having a good sleep this morning.
Good afternoon, everybody. Lovely to have you with us. My name is Byron, and on camera with me is Fergus this afternoon. Now, it's a really warm afternoon, and Ellie was saying she hoped I had a good sleep because I was not out this morning on safari. I got to rest, and Tristan and Ellie were out. And but it's lovely to have the schools with us this afternoon. So I'm hoping to find some interesting animals for you. Don't forget your questions. Ask your teachers to send us your questions, not their questions. Your questions, and we'll hopefully answer them about anything you want to know about Africa and the bush. Now I'm going to see if I can find you some lions this afternoon. Now, Tristan did find them this morning. I'm hoping that they're in the same area. I think they might still be there. Now, they did hunt last night. Oh. Okay. I'm just scanning around now. We just driving around. It is still quite warm. Maybe we get some animals coming down to drink at any waterhole, perhaps. Now this is quite interesting, and just something I'd like to show you quickly while we drive past it. But have a look at this little pan. Now this is basically what we would call a mud wallow at the moment. Now in summer, when we do have a lot of rain, this will fill up with water and the animals will all come down and drink. But what they also do is they will go and wallow in the mud. You can see there are a lot of footprints in the mud over there, but that's very, very dry, so that hasn't had water for quite some time. So animals like buffalo, rhino, elephant, warthogs, they will all come and roll around in the mud, and they cake their bodies full of mud to protect their skin in the summer heat. Also gets rid of ticks and any other insects that might be sitting on them. So it's interesting to see how animals would use these mud wallows. Now, unfortunately, that is dry. There's a little section that I think they possibly could still use, but it doesn't look like any animals have been here recently. Now this is also a nice area if it does fill up with water for us to come and have a look and see if animals have come down to drink during the day, if we are looking for any specific animals. It's nice and quiet this afternoon. I'm trying to listen out. It does help to listen sometimes. Maybe we hear some animals calling in the distance, maybe alarm calls. If some of the antelope species, if they hear, or see rather, if they see a predator like a leopard or a lion, they will alarm call. They make funny sounds to alert one another. So they basically warn each other that there's danger. So that's what we would often stop for and listen. Now, Ben, you've asked, what do leopards eat? Now, Ben, the leopards will eat on a variety of food. They will feed on a huge variety of food. Everything from, now listen to this, it's amazing. From snakes, sometimes big snakes, like a python. I've seen leopards eating a python before. To little scrub hares, what looks like a rabbit. It's called a hare, a little scrub hare. And what they also feed on will then range from those small creatures right up to the antelope species that we have here, like the impala, maybe a nyala, it's another species of antelope, the kudu. We have had leopards that have caught young buffalo before, a young giraffe. So a huge variety of food, even birds, if they're moving through the bush and they flush out possibly a little francolin or a guinea fowl. Those are ground birds that we get in the area. They'll also try and catch them. So leopards will eat just about anything. They're very, very skilled hunters, and that's why the leopards do so well, is they can adapt to the terrain and the area that they are in very, very well to survive. So they're incredible hunters. So Ben, I hope that answers your question. There's a lot that the leopards feed on. Now I think let's head to Ellie, who's driving around. I think let's find out how her leopard search is going.
Well, we still haven't been able to find the leopards, but we have some leopard prints on the road, which I would very much like to show you because it is very interesting to see them around here. And they are pretty clear because thankfully they've been walking on a very sandy road, so it's easier to see them once they walk on these things. But I want to show you this particular track over here because it's also very pretty. So you'll see, very easy to find if we're looking at a dog or a cat. You just have to count certain things and then you'll be able to know. So very easy to know that this is a cat, and by the size we can tell it's a leopard. It's because it's got 1, 2 and 3 little lobes at the back. So it's almost like it has 1, 2 and 3 petals on the bottom part of its paw, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4 fingers, 4 toes, and they're pointing in that direction, and that's roughly where the animal was going. But then if you see here, just to give you guys a bit of an idea, it's about this big. So compared to my hand, this is about how big the leopard track is. So still quite a small track. The one of a lion would be much, much, much bigger. So just out of practice and out of doing this for quite a long time, then you learn to see. If they're very, very big, almost the size of my hand, then I know it's a lion. If it's a bit smaller, then it's a leopard. But I think these tracks are actually not the freshest ones around. I think the leopard was, this morning, it was walking up and down the road because I see more vehicle tracks have come around. So we want to carry on looking for them. There's another spot that I want to try because we saw lots of antelope, lots of deer looking like creatures that the leopards like to eat, and now this morning it was a mummy with the cub. So I'm sure she's trying to look for some food to find for her little one because they were trying to find some food. Ainsley, you're wondering how big leopard cubs are when they are born. They are tiny. They're very, very small compared to what they get. But think of a kitten. sometimes the very, very small ones, they are about the size of a tiny kitten, or maybe a kitten is too small. If you think of a puppy, of a newborn puppy, that's more likely the size when they're born. So maybe about this big when they're born, and they're not even 1 kilogram when they're that small. So, sorry, this car is called Wendy, and she likes turning at her own pace. So it's good, because now I'm getting hot after all of this exercise and all my tire marks on the road and everything else. So I just want to try another spot that one of the other rangers that was looking at the leopards today say maybe they could go in there. So we'll just go and have a look, see if perhaps we get lucky with any of them around. Although it's such a wonderful afternoon that I would hope that they would be up in a tree just resting and being very happy. But I think they're gonna make us work for it. They're not gonna be as easy to find. But who knows? We know that they were around, so it's always good to know that at least they have been seen. So wish us good luck. Benedict, you're wondering how long a leopard, or how long a distance can a leopard run? It depends. If it's scared, then it might run very far, a couple hundred meters. If it's not that scared, it could be just a few meters. But in general, when they move around and they start looking around all of the area that they call home and just moving, maybe looking for food, they can do a couple of kilometers, maybe a couple of miles every day. Just want to see, because I'm not sure that they went up that way. Okay, while we carry on our search for leopard and leopard tracks, let's go over to Byron, who's got one of my favorite birds out in the bush.
Now Ellie, we do have a rather large bird. This is a vulture. I didn't know it was one of your favorite birds. This is a hooded vulture, and it's actually sitting in quite a small tree for a vulture. Usually they prefer to sit in larger trees. There are two vultures there in actual fact. Now usually they prefer to sit on bigger branches and trees that are bare, that don't have leaves on them, because it's easier for them to land in those trees. But these two vultures have decided to sit in this little tree on those thin branches. Look at that. Now you can just see those sharp claws a little bit. Can you see that? Amazing. Very, very sharp claws or talons of the vulture. Now this is a good sign, and I say that because as I mentioned, my friend Tristan found some lions this morning, and they were feeding on a zebra that they managed to catch last night. So I think with these vultures being around now, we are very close to where those lions were, and I'm hoping they're still in that area. And the vultures feed on dead meat, so dead carcasses. So they will, whatever little bits of food is left, they will clean up the carcass and then fly off again. So that's why these vultures are up in the tree waiting for their chance to feed. Now, Gia, you asked how loud is a lion's roar? Well, it's very loud, Gia. So a lion's roar, if I can put it like this, when they get, if you are lucky enough to have one roar close to the vehicle, close to the car, it sometimes causes the car to shake a little bit. The vibrations, you can feel it. It's very, very loud. I think let's move on a little bit and see if we can find these lions. So, Gia, they can be heard. Those lion roars can be heard from about, I'm trying to think in miles, about maybe 5 or 6 miles away. That's how far you can hear the lion roar from. Oh wow, I've just spotted them. Have a look, there they are, just through the bush. Can you see that? There we go. Looks like some young lions there. Oh, and I just heard a little growl from another one. Okay, so I'm going to try position us so we can get a good view of these lions. They look like they've dragged the carcass into the bush a little bit. So let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. That looks like a big male through there. Look at him staring back at us. Can you see that? Wow, and he looks like he's guarding the carcass at the moment. Like I said, let me try and reposition. Try and move through some thick bush here quickly. There are some other tourists with us at the moment. They are out on their safari. There's quite a few lions here that I can see moving around. I'm going to try and get us a view of this big male. Now, I wonder, hold on, yeah, some little ones too. Let's first have a look at these two beautiful little ones. These are young lions. They're not adults. I'm just trying to think how old these ones are now. I think they're about a year old, if I'm not mistaken. They're part of a pride called the Nkuhuma Pride. So for those new viewers that are watching, this is the Nkuhuma Pride that we see on Safari Live quite regularly. The dominant territorial pride in this area. And then we've got some big males that join them every now and then. Now, I'm not too sure how many males were here this morning. I think it was 2 of them. And so I'm going to see if we can find these big males. The one was just lying on the other side of the carcass. And we'll try a little bit later to get a view of the big males. But they're hiding in the bush, guarding that carcass at the moment. So let's see how many are here. I'm going to try count and find out. While I do that, let's head over to my friend Brent, who's all the way in East Africa in the Masai Mara.
Live. Here we go. Hello everybody and welcome to this end of the afternoon safari here from the Masai Mara in Kenya. My name is James and a very special welcome to the kids from Skillen Elementary School today. I hope you're having a good day at school. I bet you didn't expect to come to Kenya today. Quite exciting. Back on camera today is Jean-Dre. There is his thumb. The last time I was here with him was September last year. I'm not going to tell you what he likened that memory to, as he tried to insult me earlier today. But with any luck, you will never hear any such nastiness like I had to deal with earlier today. Now, ask as many questions as you like, as I'm sure Byron and Ellie have told you to. And you can do that by just asking your teacher. And those of you who are not at school, mercifully, those of you who finished your school days, #Safari Live, of course, is how you get hold of us. That, of course, is a giraffe on World Giraffe Day. And this particular kind of giraffe is not the reticulated, the Masai giraffe, he's called, quite appropriately, living in the Masai Mara. Masai giraffe around this very area, but I don't know what she said to them. Perhaps she said something nasty, and so, well, unfortunately she's now all on her lonesome. She doesn't mind, though. Giraffe quite like being on their own from time to time. Now, she's not totally alone from another animal point of view. Although she is alone as a giraffe, there are some zebra not too far from her, to the left and to the right. And Jean-Dre will show us those when he so desires. There they are, standing in the shade of a shepherd's bush, I think. They eat leaves from trees. They don't eat grasses because, of course, it's difficult for them to get to grass. They have a digestive system that allows them largely to eat leaves from trees only, and they are called browsers. So all you have to remember from that Veda is that they're called browsers. Now we're going to swap all the way from that giraffe because there's just so much to see out here right now. And you're going to sweep across a beautiful view, and then we're going to look down towards some buffalo way in the distance there. And we'll try and get a little bit closer to them, or Brent might. He's also out here in the Mara today. So that's a buffalo. And just in the foreground there, you can see some baboons. And those are called olive baboons. The olive baboon lives here in Kenya. So they're like monkeys, but just a bit bigger and hairier. And, well, they've got bigger teeth too. Already.
Now we are still sitting with these lions. It looks like I can't really see where all the other females. They're lying off to the back somewhere, but I think a little bit further back in the shade. I think they're just resting a little bit away from the carcass. But I can see 4 of these young lions that are lying here, and then the male is hiding with the carcass in the shade over there. There you can just see his big paw. Look at that. Huge paw. Very, very big male lion. I'm going to try and get you a better view of him. We'll just be patient. He might move for us while I'll reposition the vehicle. Now, Sam, you asked how fast can the lions run. They can run really quickly, Sam. They're much faster than us, put it that way, much faster than even the fastest sprinter. So you can imagine the fastest sprinter in the world at the moment is Usain Bolt, and lions would be faster than him. So they could cover. Now let me maybe try and describe it like this. If you look at, maybe you can see if Fergs just shows the vehicle as from the distance they are from the. Can we get the vehicle in? There we go. So that little distance, it's not very far. If I point over there, it's probably about, we would say, oh, okay. Fergs can tell me exactly how far it is. 11 meters. Okay, so 11 meters. So if a lion had to charge us from that distance, they could probably close that distance in about a second, less than a second. So if they had to get up and charge, they're so fast and so powerful, they can cover that distance in less than a second. That's how fast lions are. So it's really, really incredible. They usually only have that speed for when they are chasing prey, if they're trying to hunt. So what happens is the lions will work together, and what they most likely did in this situation with this zebra that they managed to catch last night is the lions will work together and they'll sometimes spread out. They'll see where the prey is. Possibly, hold on, there's some movement over here. Let's just see. There we go. They're just moving a little bit. So as I was saying, these lions would see where the prey is. So in this instance, it was a zebra. So they'll watch the zebra and then try and work out how they can stalk and get very close. Sometimes, oh, listen to that male. You see, he's not happy with those young ones coming close to the kill. He doesn't want to share. That's amazing. It's incredible to see how aggressive he can be. So as I was saying, these lions, sometimes what they do is they would move around and they would chase maybe the zebra towards the other lions, and they would then ambush the zebra and pull it down and kill it. So that sprint, that short sprint, is basically to ambush the prey so that they can then jump and catch them. That's what it is. They can't run very fast for long distances, not at all. So animals like a cheetah, who are incredibly fast, can run maybe 100 or 200 meters very, very quickly. Lions, it's very short distances that they run fast, and then they'll slow down and probably give up again if they don't catch their prey. Now, Ava, you asked how big can lions get. Now, to give you an example, the big male lion, probably like this one over here, who's lying in the bush. We will try to get a view of him, don't worry. But Ava, these big lions, they can get to about 200 or 220 kilograms. Now, let me tell you the best way to describe that So if I sit up, now I'm not really a small guy. I don't want to give away my weight completely, but I weigh probably about 94 kilograms. So if you think a male lion is 2 of me and a little bit extra, so that's how big they can get. Very, very big, muscular animals, strong, powerful animals, and they can be so strong and powerful and fast, even with that heavy weight that they are carrying. So that's how big male lions can get. The females, maybe about 140 to 160 kilograms. So in pounds, I'm trying to think. So pounds, a male lion would probably be about over 400, close to 450 pounds probably. And then a female would be around maybe 300 pounds, somewhere around there. Just over 300 pounds. That's how big they get. So isn't that incredible? Very, very big, powerful cats. Now, this zebra unfortunately was caught by the lions last night, but my friend James in the Mara has got some live zebra he wants to show you.
Well, we're not really with zebra. There is one zebra there, but what I wanted to show you was a very special animal. It's called a Coke's Hartebeest. There we are. And they look quite strange, you know. There we go. They've got very strange shaped horns and a sort of surprised look on their faces all the time, which I think is quite funny. Now, they're grazers. They eat grass. Not like the giraffe, of course, which I told you eats the leaves on trees. So this is a grazer, and it eats the grass that grows in the ground. And they're quite big, you know. The big males will weigh up to about 100, at least 218 kilograms, which in pounds is, well, about 450 pounds. So they're pretty big. And I just think they're rather special, you know. I've just got to this place called the Masai Mara here in Kenya, and this is only the second time that I've seen the Coke's Hartebeest. And I know Hartebeest is quite a difficult word to say, so I want you to all try. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hartebeest. As well. 1, 2, 3. Hartebeest. There we go. Well done, Jean-Andre. And it's quite unusual because he likes to do that, does Jean-Andre. It's quite unusual because both the male and the female have horns. Now, we think that when that happens, both the male and the female use their horns to fight off predators, as opposed to animals that only have the males with horns, like many of the deer species near where you live, and we think they use those for fighting off other males. Now, Tara, you want to know how free the animals are here. Well, what I'm going to do is ask Jean-Andre to pan the camera over this enormous area all around us. And I'm going to tell you that as far as you can see on your screen, there are no fences, there are no people, and these animals get to roam this area completely free without any human interference whatsoever. So it is a very free place. And it even crosses an international border, goes down into Tanzania, and it's part of an area that's probably about 3.5 million hectares of land, and that is 8 million or so acres. So it is a massive, massive piece of land, this. Isn't that gorgeous? All of that space is for the animals. Alrighty, let's carry on. We're going to continue down the hill. I'm just going to move out of the way so that this chap behind us can go past. There are other people out here on the safari. And while we do that, we'll just have a look at those pigs there. Now, Rebecca, you're wondering what the temperature in the Mara is. The temperature at the moment is currently probably, I would say, about 19 degrees Celsius. No, it's probably about 26 degrees Celsius or so, between 80 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And what you're looking at there, of course, is a warthog. And the warthogs are eating grass, much the same as the Hartebeest were doing that, but they'll be eating a different part of
Oh my goodness, I apologize for the gremlins, but I'm sure the guys are fighting them off in the Mara. In the meantime, we have managed to find what I thought it looked like a Bateleur eagle, but now that the head is sticking out a bit more, I might be entirely wrong. So, it is a bit of a mystery bird at the moment for me, because his head keeps coming in and out from, the tree, so it comes back and forth. So we haven't managed to have a proper look around. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like a vulture head. So, what are you? You are confusing me now. So, we've got a bit of a mystery. If you guys want to help me try and figure out which one it is, you are more than welcome to to give us a hand. What I can say is that it looks like an eagle perching all the way on the tree, and by the looks of it, it seemed like it had something earlier on. Something like a little snake, or perhaps a twig, or something that was moving around there. So, I think we're just going to sit around here and wait for a little while longer, see if perhaps we can figure out what it is, because I have a feeling it's going to be something very simple and something very obvious as it happens, but for whatever reason, we can't seem to put it right, because I was very convinced it was a Bateleur or a short-tailed eagle when I first saw it, and I saw it was this one, the juvenile, because the face looks very, very blue, much like it is now. So normally with all of the birds, it takes them quite a long time, and often a few years, before they get all those beautiful colors that the adults have. So it's just like us humans, they take a while to grow and then just be adults. So maybe we just grow in height and the animals change colors as they get older. Oh, sorry. The weight of the book moved around and I moved with it. So, I thought it was this one, but I'm not too sure upon closer inspection that it is that. So I think maybe we'll carry on looking and having a look at our mystery bird, see what it can be. I think maybe I'm going to try and reverse, see if perhaps we can have a view of the face, because that is really all that's confusing me here. Alright. Mystery fellow, what are you? I would... Is that good for you? Alright, I want to use my very trusty binoculars to have a look, and of course now he's facing the other way. The more I look at it, the more I do think it's a Bateleur, but it's standing in a funny way. You see, it's got that funny looking, very light colored face, and then the neck is tucked in, and then the legs very bare. So I think it is what I thought it was. The one that I showed you in the book, it's also called the short-tailed eagle, because they have a very, very short tail in comparison to the rest of the eagles around here. And the reason for it is so that when they're flying, for example, if you think of an airplane, they have a very long tail and it helps them turn around. But to turn around, they have to do it very carefully and they have to do a big loop. It's the same with birds. So this one, because it's got a smaller tail, then it's able to turn around a lot quicker and it doesn't have to do such a longer loop to turn around. Okay, I think you are definitely a Bateleur. I am glad you posed around long enough for us to see you, so thank you very much. And I think he's cold. His head is tucked in. We are going to carry on looking for the leopards. We haven't forgotten about them. We just haven't found any tracks for them. They are Africa's most elusive cat. But in the meantime, let's go over to Byron, who's enjoying very happy, sleepy cats in the shade.
I am indeed very, very happy, Ellie, because I seen some lions for quite some time. We saw this pride about 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. 4 or 5 days ago, we found them. Folks, you found them. We spotted them in the road, and we were driving together, and now it's great to see a male with them. I haven't seen one of these big males for quite some time. Now we're just watching this young little cub. Well, I suppose I could call it a cub, a sub-adult. And there's a young lion, and he's busy edging forward, trying to get close to that carcass. Because this big male is busy protecting it. He doesn't want these young lions getting what's left of the food. Now, Heather, that's a good question. Now, these males, you wanted to know how many of the males hang around with this pride, or this group of females. So, Heather, that big male that you just saw over there, he's part of a coalition. There we go. This little one just edged forward. Now, listen carefully. And I wanted you to hear that growl from the male. He growled once or twice because the little one was edging closer, trying to take a chance, but the male is still aware. So, Heather, getting back to your question, these males are part of a coalition. Now, coalition is the name that we have given, or that we call a group of male lions. So these males, they're 4 brothers actually, that hang around together. Now, they've got a big territory, so basically a big home that they patrol and chase out any other lions or any other males that might be competition for them. So these males move through the area. They don't always stay together. Sometimes they'll split up. Sometimes we might see one by himself, like we have here at the moment, or we could see 2 or 3 or all 4 of them together at times. They'll move around, patrol the territory. If they find a pride of one of the prides of lions that are in their territory, if they've managed to make a kill, they'll definitely stick around because they get to eat most of that food then, even though they probably haven't done any of the hunting. So this male at the moment is one of 4, and all 4 males will move in and out of this pride when they want to. So they'll cover this territory. There we go, look at him. You can just see there he is with that beautiful big mane. Oh, watch, he's growling again a little bit. Some flies bothering him. Isn't he beautiful? Now, some of you might be wondering, why has he got that big mane? Now, the reason for that is to protect himself. The male lions fight a lot with other males and each other. So that big mane is to protect the neck and the head, so the vital parts of the body, so that if they do get bitten or scratched, hopefully that thick mane of hair will help protect them. So that's what that mane is for. We are so lucky to be able to get close to these wild lions and view them. Now, Mrs. King, you've just asked the question, are we safe where we are? I was saying how lucky we are to get this close. Now, we have still got a bit of a distance between us and the lions. I'm not right on top of them. Now, Mrs. King, we are safe here. There's obviously we have a lot of respect for these wild animals, and we have to maintain that respect. So we don't make the lions feel threatened in any way, and they've become somewhat habituated to the vehicles. So they're used to the vehicles moving around and viewing them, but not bothering them. They're also used to some of the sounds and the smells. But look, if I had to get off the vehicle, yes, I'd probably be in a bit of danger, because these lions would protect this kill, and especially this male. So that would not be ideal. But staying on the vehicle, keeping our distance, not trying to move too close, not bothering them, they're relaxed and they're happy, and they allow us to view them. Now remember, these game reserves, this is a huge open area, completely wild game reserve, almost 7 million acres of land. So it's a huge area, bigger than some countries. Now, these animals can move wherever they want. We don't interfere with them. We purely observe. And that is also that respect that I mentioned. So to be able to sit and view them is a great experience. But we do still have to be careful. They are still wild animals. Nina, you asked how big are lion cubs when they are born. Now, I'm trying to... Well, they're only a few hundred grams. So I think, let me show you maybe. When a little lion cub is born, it's probably a little ball of fur about that big. Tiny little cubs. Now what happens is, when they are born in a den. So what will happen is the female will go and find a little spot that's safe and secure, so other predators can't get to them or can't harm them. So somewhere like a rocky outcrop or very thick bushes where she can hide the cubs, she'll give birth to them and hide them there for about 3 weeks to a month before she'll then start moving them around. And then from about 2 months, probably on average, maybe 2 months, those little cubs will be much bigger, about that size. And then that female will bring them out and maybe introduce them to the rest of the pride. Now they'll stay within that pride. If it's young females, they'll stay in that pride for their whole life. They won't leave. And if it's a young male, maybe when he reaches a certain age, he'll get pushed out by the other dominant males, maybe around 3, 4, or maybe 5 years old. Then he'll get pushed out and he'll have to form a territory of his own. But otherwise, the females stay within the pride. Alright. Now, I'd like to thank the schools for joining us this afternoon. It's wonderful to have you as always. And we will see you all again soon on Safari Live, hopefully. We're going to continue the rest of the drive. Thank you so much for your questions and comments. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Well, here we are, everybody, back to normal drive. Remember, hashtag Safari Live is how you ask any questions that you might wish to. That, of course, is on the tweet. Other than on the tweet, it is impossible for you to ask us any questions these days. I'm just going to greet this fellow next to us. Good afternoon. Hello. There they are. One smiled, the others looked like they were having a root canal treatment. Anyway, there we have more giraffe on International Giraffe Day. And we also had some elephant in the background, and Jandri is now very proudly going to show you some other elephants down there somewhere. There they are, miles away, 400 kilometers or so, grazing in amongst the trees, the sparsely distributed trees, the great Masai Mara. Now, it would seem that nobody knows where any lions are. We saw a lion this morning. And our objective, of course, is to try and find some lions this afternoon and then remain with them because we want to see what they do tonight. We're not going to be broadcasting that because we have to try and practice and figure out exactly what's going on, how, when. But just to keep you posted, that's what we are doing. And so Brent and I will both be on the search for the lions. Now, I don't want to go this way. I think rumours of lions that way are incorrect. But I might be incorrect. So I think we'll go this way. And I'm going to go to exactly where I saw the cubs yesterday afternoon and see if we don't pick up on them there. We will observe these tipple skirchies as we go past, because it is International Giraffe Day. Alright, apparently we're not going to look at these tipple skirchies for much longer because Ellie has found something interesting.
Well, not quite yet, James. Not as fantastic as a giraffe or World Giraffe Day. We are still looking for the leopards, but apparently not too far from here we haven't been able to find not even one track for them. I think they have been moving around in the very thick bushes around here, so sometimes it's a bit easier if they walk on the road, because then we can see them a bit better. But I think in this case they haven't. Alrighty, let me get out of the way. Hello. Hi. Good, thanks, and you guys? Did you hear the alarm calls?
No, I didn't hear, but Andres from Chitwa.
Okay. Yeah, I've just come from the old hyena den and I couldn't see anything around there. So I don't know.
I left them somewhere in the bush here.
Was it here?
Yeah, up there.
Okay.
Right in the bush. Maybe they're still hiding somewhere.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go then maybe do another loop. Alright, thank you very much. Alright, sorry guys, we share the area that we're working in with many people that come to be on safari, just like what we are taking you guys upon now. And I was just talking to one of the guys that saw the leopards this morning, and he said he left them around this area, so not too far from where we have been looking for, but he says that they were in very thick bush, so hiding underneath the trees and the bushes and so on. So also there have been a few animals that have been doing alarm calls, and that is when an animal like an antelope that looks very much like a deer or a bird, when they see a potential predator, they start making a noise, a very particular noise. For example, in the case of the antelope, it sounds very much like a bark, like a dog, so it'll be like bark, bark, and they do it just to let the predator, in this case the leopards, just to let them know, oh, I see you, I know that you're there, now you can't get me. So I think maybe these guys are still around here, but we'll carry on looking for them. I'm sure we'll eventually find them. I was just saying to Seb, it seems like we're looking for ghosts. Alright, seems like Byron is enjoying a very wonderful afternoon with the cats, so let's go over to him while we carry on our search for the spotted ones.
I am indeed, Ellie. It's so nice to see a pride of lions again and spend time with them. Now, like I said, they are resting at the moment, so I may drive around a little bit, just see what else we can find for half an hour or an hour, and then come back and sit with them a little bit longer to see if they get active. I can just see 1, 2, 3, 4 of these young lions lying out here. These little sub-adults or youngsters. The male is still close to the carcass, protecting it. The females are still right at the back in the long grass. We haven't actually, I just saw one when we arrived, but I can't see the rest of them. They're all lying in the back there somewhere. But this has been really great. Shiana, you 6 years old. Hello, Shiana. You asked, why is the male lion's mane so dark? So, Shiana, what sometimes happens is genetically, now that's a big word, now genetically, and what that means is just like, so it's the way the lion has been made up, so from his parents. Now if I can explain it like this, if you think of maybe our skin color is slightly different, so even if you look at Fergs and myself, I'm a little bit darker than Fergs, and now that is exactly the same with these lions. Some lions are darker than others, some of the manes are a bit darker. Sometimes what happens is they've got testosterone or hormones in their body, and if they've got a lot of testosterone, their manes can sometimes be a bit dark. And I know, Shana, these are big words, and I'm sorry to be using these big words to try and explain it. But basically, the best way is think of it just how maybe some of your friends at school, your skin is slightly darker or lighter than theirs. The same with the lions. Sometimes the males can maybe have darker manes than other lions, or their coat might be lighter or darker. It all depends. Hope that explains it a bit better. John, yeah, I suppose it is a bit surprising that the other males haven't joined yet, but again, you know, these males' territories are so huge. They cover a vast area. So I think what'll happen is unless they heard the kill, or if they maybe followed the vultures in. Sometimes lions do watch the vultures, and if they see vultures going down, they'll come and investigate. Whew, one of those lions stinks terribly. Whew, that is not a healthy smell. Whew. Sorry, everybody. We're downwind of the lions, and that's not a good place to be after they've been eating a zebra. So, John, as I was saying, these male lions sometimes will see vultures and come in. Otherwise, maybe tonight the other males could join. If these lions roar, make a noise. But this male's clever. He's probably going to keep quiet, so he doesn't have to share the kill with his brothers. So it all depends where they are and if they pick up on the smell of this carcass or not. Karen, you say these lions are fat and happy. There's some seriously full bellies there. So they are indeed very, very happy. And I'm so glad. It just shows you. You know, we had a few days of the Nkuhuma Pride haven't really been seen. They disappeared for a while. They went north to Buffelshoek and all the way up to the Manyeleti. And then they're back again. And look at that. They've managed to hunt a zebra and do very well. Excuse me a second. Go ahead. Afternoon, Andrew. Update here. Just myself in this position. Animals are flat at the moment. You're more than welcome to make your way in as a second if you'd like. Copy. Just calling one of the other guides in so they can have a view. I think I'm starting to get a bit better at this multitasking, listening to the radio and talking at the same time. Now, Jess, you asked why won't this male share with the rest of the lions? Well, he's a little bit stingy, Jess. So male lions, they're very opportunistic, but especially when there is a kill, they want to make sure they get, and for lack of a better term, the lion's share. They want to have the most of the meat or most of the kill that they possibly can. So what happens is now these youngsters, everybody's fed, there's only a little bit left, so now he's decided that he wants to save that little bit for himself. I think that's probably the main reason why he is reluctant to share the kill. Alright, so I think why don't I leave these lions for now. I will come back, I will return a little bit later, and let's head over to Ellie, find out how a leopard search is going, and we'll see what else we can find.
Well, the leopard search is always an interesting one, and we're trying really hard, but it seems like they're hiding very well this afternoon. There's lots of little areas where they could possibly hide, and there is a dry riverbed not too far from where we are, where it's very hard to try and get the car inside. So I'm trying to see, I can hear some birds calling in the distance, and some of them are they haven't stopped calling, and they seem to be quite upset. So I don't know if I'll get up here. Maybe I need to think about this a bit better. Might need a bit of help here. I'm going to carry on fighting this road, and while I do that, let's go over to James in the Mara, who's also managed to find a lion.
Okay. Got it. We're live. Oh, hello everybody. Sorry about that. I think I pushed my radio by mistake. Well, this is the Angama Pride, I'm reliably told by my fearless commander-in-chief, and he says that they are specialising in warthogs and I quote, looking for bacon in the grass. Well, there is one of them, and the other has just popped its head up out of its bacon search, way off. Over there, can you see it, John Dream? There it is. No, there it is. Well done. Isn't that lovely? Well, I don't mean the sort of ablution facilities that you can see in the background. That is the Ulololo Gate, by the way. Oh, they're moving, and their cubs going with them. Or one cub. Now this, everyone, is why a lion is this colour. This is the kind of habitat it evolved in. Look how brilliantly hidden it remains in amongst the red grass here. Now, whether or not they've spotted something, I don't know. But we have 2 lionesses, and I'm going to ask how many there are in the Angama Pride, because as far as I'm aware, there are more than just the 2 of them. I haven't managed to learn all of that information just yet. Hello, Brenda. You want to know how you tell the difference between a male and a female lion, as we've completely lost sight of these lions. And I drove this road this morning, and I'm pretty sure they were just lying flat in the grass here. Brenda, you say other than the mane, how do you tell the difference? Well, a male is much bigger than a female. And obviously, if you see behind their tails, then you are not going to be confused in the slightest. But a male is generally about 25% to 30% larger than a female. I'm going to just sneak a little bit forward. Because they've now become completely invisible. Yeah. Okay, I can just see the one, John Dree. Can you see it there? It's like a little boat in the sea of grass. Not sure if there's I think there is a road that goes around that way. There she is. Sorry, Tina, I missed your question. I'm going to ask for it again. Oh, I thought that's what the question was. You say, why do they stink so much? Do they? Oh, they don't stink so much at all, Tina. They get a bit smelly when they get around a carcass, but otherwise they're not very smelly at all. And in fact, I think you'll find one of the reasons they and leopards clean themselves so fastidiously is to try and get off the smell of carrion, so that they are not smelt when they're on the hunt and the wind changes, for example. So I don't think they're very stinky at all. Have you had an experience of a stinky lion? I think, maybe you're talking about where the Nkuhuma Pride are. I mean, it'll be very stinky around where they are now, because they made a kill, and then they don't bother to clean themselves until they're finished and they want to go on the hunt again. So they will be very smelly there now. Right, well, I'm afraid that's going to be it for this sighting. We will keep trying to keep up with this pride. I don't know where they're going to go. Oh, there's the rest of them moving now. Sorry, Chandri. There you can see. Now, Roshni, you've asked a difficult question. You say, what's my opinion on the Mara traditional conflict with the lions? I'm not sure what you mean, other than, of course, there is this conflict all over Africa where local people who have been dispossessed of land come up against game reserves which have largely colonial backgrounds. And it's no different in South Africa, it's no different in Kenya, Tanzania, Cameroon, you name it. Those problems exist. In this particular area, of course, there are some people living on the sides of the reserve, and I really think that, I mean, my opinion is that there is very It's an extremely complicated topic. I think there is merit in both sides. The argument from many local people is that, well, this was our land and you took it from us. And the argument from many conservationists, who are now local people as well, of course, these days, is yes, we understand that, but if we don't protect areas like this with such a vast human population, then we're going to be in real trouble. So, there's merit on both sides of the argument. This particular area has had tremendous drought, which of course increases pressure on areas like this, which tend to survive better than communal grazing lands. Alrighty, let's head across to Byron, who seems to have left his lions. I'm going to see what these lions do. In the meantime, let's find out what Byron, Bad Choice, Smekter Sarau has to say.
What do you mean, bad choice, James? I think James made a comment this morning. I actually missed it. He said that I made a bad choice of staying in this morning or not being on drive because there was so much action. Perhaps, James, perhaps. But maybe by me staying in, you all got the luck for the morning. And it sounds like you definitely had a lot of luck finding everything, or maybe it was just skill. I think so. Probably a bit of both. No, we did just leave those lions, and they're still lying down resting. It doesn't look like they're going to move anytime soon, but I'm going to return there later when it starts cooling down, because we might get some activity from them. Have them moving around. See, I thought everybody had so much luck this morning. I better be on top form this afternoon, so I shaved, made myself look very respectable, and luckily we got to see those lions. Now, I can't claim any credit for them because Tristan and Fergs found them this morning. I just drove to the same area that they were in, and generally if they're feeding on a carcass or if they're fed on a carcass, they'll probably stay in that same area because it's very, very warm. So that's something to always remember, is that if lions have fed recently, or of a kill that's in the area, still go and return, double check that area, because the chances are during the day those predators won't move off too far. They'll probably stick around there. And it's the same for leopard, not just lions. Leopards too, if they've got a carcass or a kill, they'll probably stay in the area until that carcass is finished. Sometimes leopards will feed, maybe go and drink some water and come back to the kill, but they'll always return to the kill until it's completely finished. Lions will probably just stay there, finish the kill, and then later go and look for some water, because they do get quite thirsty after they've been feeding. Oh wow! Oh, Brent has found a cat in a tree. It's not a lion. Let's go and have a look. Well done, Brent.
Well, you see there's not many trees out here. You can see there's a single Balanites tree in the distance and another one there. Good afternoon, my name is Brent Leo Smith and I've got Dangerous Dave Easter on camera, and we're live from the Mara, and for the very first time, live from Kenya, in the Masai Mara, we're going to show you a leopard in a tree. Now, this is not where I expected to see our first leopards. I expected to find around the edge of the escarpment, or at least along the river, but there we go. Now, the reason we're so far away at the moment, I'm trying to see if it's got a kill there, but I'm not sure. It looks like it could be a big boy, is because I don't know whether this leopard is relaxed or it is skittish. And we're going to sneak a little bit closer, but I really hope it's a nice relaxed leopard. Judging from so far, I mean, we are quite far away, but it is looking very relaxed so far. So shall we edge a little bit closer? Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you've got any questions. This is the first live leopard from the Mara team. Isn't that exciting? I've seen a few, but it's either been at strange times of the day or very fleeting glimpses of skittish leopards. So we're going to take this approach very carefully. Now, for those of you who haven't been on leopard habituation with me before at Djuma, it's a very, very subtle thing. Now, I'm talking quite loudly now, and I'm actually doing that on purpose. I want the leopard to know that I am here. And now, as we start driving towards the leopard, I'm not going to drive straight towards it. Now, all animals, even people, if you imagine something coming straight towards you, it's quite confrontational. So I'm going to slowly go towards that tree in front of us. And then we're going to stop. We'll have another look at how the leopard reacts, and then from there we will go again across the face, never directly at an animal, especially if you don't know that if they're relaxed or not. Okay, this is so exciting. Now, I was expecting we were going to see our first leopard up against the escarpment or around one of the luggers or river systems. Bree says that looks like a massive leopard. I think you are right. Now, I will start talking quieter as I get closer, but I don't want to surprise the leopard. That is why I'm talking quite loudly, and so far everything's looking quite good. I haven't even seen a head lift, which means this is probably a nice relaxed big tom. And Bree, I think it's quite a big looking male as well, just from the size of the tree and the size of that cat. Woohoo! And this is going to be so exciting because we're going to be able to hopefully get some nice ID shots of this leopard. And we're just going to stop here and have another closer look. And as again, he has not moved an inch. He has not even lifted his head at us, which is a very... Oh, there we go. His head's lifted now. So he has heard us. That is a massive boy. Maybe not too old. I'm trying to see if there's tears in the ear, but of his head, yeah, back to sleep. That is a really good sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep edging closer and gauging his reaction. It looks like he's going to just lie down again. Yeah, that's a good sign. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to get close to him. Now, the leopards that are as relaxed as the ones in the Sabi sands. Okay, let's continue on. And as I said, it's very important to just... Oh, there's a termite mound in front of me. Go very, very slowly in these situations. And this is one of the most exciting things about coming into a new area. And an amazing thing about having such a vast area is that you do get to see animals that might not have seen cars before. And it is one of the most wonderful things to be able to sneak up and habituate and gain those animals' trust. Hi, Roshni. Roshni wants to know how far we are. I would say we're roughly about 80 meters from the leopard currently. But again, it looks like he's gone right to sleep. He's not perturbed with our presence at all. So what I'm doing is I'm watching him as we're driving. Now, Dave's going to try and give you a view. It is quite difficult because we are off-road. And I'm just watching his reactions. The fact that he hasn't turned his head to look at me is a good sign. And as soon as he would lift his head or even stand to look at us, even though I'm pretty confident this is a very relaxed leopard now, I would immediately switch off the car, stay for about 5 or 10 minutes, just talking normally, getting used to the sound of a human voice. As I say, I think this boy is used to people, judging by the fact that he hasn't moved. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he's got a kill in this tree and if he's hungry. Now, isn't this amazing? This is our first leopard in the Masai Mara, and that's why you got to be careful. Look at that, this big mud wallow out here just sneaking up trying to catch me. Don't worry, we were not caught. I was paying the right amount of attention to where I'm driving and to looking at the leopard. Oh, we're going to get so close now. I can feel this is going to be great. So hopefully I don't get stuck. I'm only joking, of course. I'll leave that to James and Jamie, getting stuck, that is. So I'm still not going to go right up to the tree yet. I still want to have a look at him, just gauge his reactions. He's lifted his head, but he doesn't look nonplussed. He looks the same as what Tingana or one of the Sabi Sands leopards might do. How's that for you, Dave? Look at that. Look at that. Oh, he's going to yawn. Hello! As I said, he looked like a big leopard, but not particularly old. And he looks to be a monster. And he looks like he does not mind us one iota. Oh, tired Getty. Beautiful. I've just realized something, Dave. I have broken my leopard in a Balanites tree duck. I have never seen a leopard in a Balanites. Fair enough, that is the Balanites species, Angama, that is in the Sabi Sands. But this is special. The first live leopard in the Masai Mara. My first leopard, and I've seen a lot of leopard, and it's in a Balanites. Hi, James. James is wondering how the leopards of the Masai Mara adapted to living there with a high number of, I suppose, lions and hyenas. Well, James, they have their trees. And as I said, I wasn't expecting to see a leopard right out here in the Balanites zone, but it makes sense. There's lots of Thompson's gazelle in this long grass. We could find oribi as well, lots of scrub hares, and of course I just heard some of the first zebra crossings happened today, so there's baby zebras coming through. The Hartebeest should be arriving shortly, and at this time it's sort of a time of plenty, so they're probably not as in competition as much, but I think they would very quickly abandon their kill. Okay, now he is absolutely nonplussed whatsoever, so I'm going to get a little bit closer. Now, we're going to get ourselves into the position, get ready to take all the screenshots of this beautiful boy, but while we do that, let's go to Ellie and some elephants.
How exciting! To go all the way from a leopard up in a tree to an elephant with its trunk down the ground trying to dig for some water. Now, this one over here, this is a youngster still, so not a very old elephant. And it's just, there you go, it's just drinking water. So what it's doing, it's actually, there's a hole that we can't really see where his head is buried, because we are in one of the dry riverbeds, and it's been digging over there where you can see where all the bushes are. He's been digging for water, because there is a lot of water underneath the sand. So he's being very clever, and he's gone all the way down there and just been able to have a bit of a drink, sucks it up all the way with its trunk, and then puts the trunk in its mouth, and then pretty much lets everything fall into the mouth. So that's the way this Ellie has been drinking. Very smart, knows exactly where to go for a drink. And I'm sure the water that it's drinking is a lot colder than the one that he could find in a pan anywhere around here. Still sucking up the water. So now it's not very common to see an Ellie this size by itself, so I'm sure maybe the rest of the family is just hiding behind or around the corner where we can't see it, but very likely they're not too far away. And you're still a bit of a youngster to be by yourself, aren't you? That's wonderful, isn't it? It's just busy drinking, having a very peaceful afternoon. And it's funny, because at one point he realized we were here, so in typical elephant shape, it just turns around and, you know, flaps its ears, and then just looked at us and was like, oh, okay, then carried on drinking. So you can see he's not bothered by us, which is quite amazing, because he's just very, very happily drinking there. Alright, the leopard that Brent was looking at is coming down the tree, so let's go over to him to have a look.
Well, he got up and not shot of both sides of his face. Here he comes. Oh, big boy. So I said he's big, but he's not that old. And I think he's going to go out on the hunt. Oh, he's just going to lie down in the grass. He's tired of being in the tree, but you can see he's completely non-fussed whatsoever with us. Having a little scratch. Now, the reason the leopards like trees all the time, but you can see the amount of flies that have suddenly descended on him as he's come down. They hover around. Oh, I like this boy. Look at that tail whipping around at the flies. Isn't this just magic? Remember, hashtag Safari Live. I think the flies have just got too much for him. You better be careful, big boy. Their line's not too far from here. Now we're going to have a proper challenge. Trying to follow him carefully through this long grass and not get stuck. Now, the other thing that the leopard's probably going to hunt quite a lot here, and just look at that camouflage, is of course warthogs. Now, a male leopard like this, warthog would be a lovely, easy meal for him, and there are lots of warthogs in these grassland areas. I've lost sight of him. Judy is saying that those trees look like trees from the Dr. Seuss book. I couldn't agree more, Judy. Do you see him, Dave? Now, you got to be careful. You don't know if he's just laying down. I'm almost trying to look for moving grass at the moment. But as I said, it's going to be...
Alright, now we just have a little woodpecker up in the tree. There it goes. Oh. Now, which one was that? Caught a glimpse of it. It flew past, landed over there. And I'm trying to see if I could identify it. These woodpeckers often look very similar. Now, if you'd like to have a look at my app here quickly. Now, I think this was a little cardinal woodpecker that we saw. That's the one, very bright head. However, all these woodpeckers have got these bright heads. I'm just going to... Okay, not the ground woodpecker, greenback, no, golden-tailed woodpecker. It could very well have been the golden-tailed, actually, I think, judging by that bit of red underneath. Oh dear. They all look the same, especially if you get a quick glimpse of them. They can move very quickly. So these are the ones that we get in the area. The golden-tailed woodpecker, the cardinal woodpecker, and then the Bennett's woodpecker too. That one, but that's quite a large woodpecker and generally sits on the ground. It wasn't that one. The other one is the... Oh, where is it now? The other one is the bearded woodpecker, but the bearded woodpecker you can identify quite easily because it's got, there we go, a lot of black underneath the throat. So this one didn't, had a bit of red under there. So I think that was actually a cardinal woodpecker that we saw. Where is it? That one. There we go. Just there was a little bit of hint of black, but the bright red, and there's a little bit of red too that comes through. I think it was the cardinal. Like I said, it was a bit quick. The other one, maybe. Oh, you see now these birds sometimes, if you don't have a good look, and I don't want to get it wrong, so definitely not bearded, possibly golden-tailed or the cardinal. Now the golden-tailed is a bit bigger. That's why I think that's what it was, because the cardinal is a very small woodpecker. So you can have a look at the size too. So the cardinal's only 15 centimeters, so a small one. That one looked a bit bigger. That was a golden-tailed woodpecker, because there was a bit of red under the throat. That's what I saw. So it is there, and it was a bit bigger than the cardinal. So that was a golden-tailed woodpecker that we saw. See, eventually when you start going through it and you discuss what you saw and what you're looking for, and distinguishing features, then it all starts making sense and you'll be able to identify the bird a bit easier. So that was a golden-tailed woodpecker. There we go. Now, I'm still driving around. I'm going to go past the dam, Vulture Dam, just see if there's anything that's come down to drink perhaps or in the area. And then probably head back to those lions. Maybe we get that male standing up or moving around or feeding on the carcass. That would be great. Now, it's amazing. I think is this not our first leopard in the Mara since everyone's been there? I'm not sure. So Brent has managed to find him again. He's climbed down the trees in the long grass, but he's got a view of it. Let's go have a look.
Welcome back, everyone. Remember, this is 100% live, coming to you from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And you can see how a leopard can absolutely vanish into the grass. And I think he got tired of being up in the tree, so he's just come down. He's moved maybe 30 meters from where we last saw him, and he's just popped down to have a snooze. And it looks like he's quite enjoying the shade of our roof. Now remember, if you've got any questions for us, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and we will do our best to answer. Now this is the first leopard we have seen live in the Masai Mara, so isn't that amazing? How he's now lying flat. You can barely see that there's a leopard. We had to drive very, very carefully not to drive over the poor guy. But I'd say he's a nice big male. Not too old yet. I'd say he's at oldest 6 or 7 years old. Still coming into prime. And I know a lot of you there are saying, look at that camouflage. It is amazing. And that ties into a question James asked a little bit earlier about how do leopards survive with lions and hyenas around. Well, they can climb, and their camouflage also plays a role, because and also being solitary predators, they don't come into contact as much, and they can avoid conflict quite a lot easier than something that's traveling in a group. So this is very, very special. Our first ever live leopard in Kenya. Is his head up? No. He's still down. And again, in an area we didn't really expect to see a leopard, out in the Balanite zone and out in the open grasslands. And I think he's going to snooze. He looks quite hungry, so we might spend some time with him, and we'll see how we feel. But we are quite a long way away from where camp is. We're probably about, as on the roads, about 30 odd kilometers. But when I got the message from Stratton, who's the Marshall Eagle researcher, that there was a leopard in the area, of course I had to rush to get you. Hi, Lisa. Lisa is wondering how many leopards are in the Mara. Well, Lisa, there's no sure number that you can sort of throw out, but your leopard densities in areas where you have high prey densities are normally higher, as are hyenas and lions. So I would say on average you probably find a dominant male leopard here, depending on where his territory is, will hold anything from 4.5 to 6,000 hectares. And that's out here, I would say, in the big open grasslands. On the riverine areas, you'll probably find that the male territories are as small as 2,000 hectares. And with the female territories obviously being a lot smaller, I'd say on average a female territory of around 600 to 1,000 hectares along the rivers. And the males, as I say, are a bit bigger. But again, we're not 100% sure. We need to find out more information. As we spend more time in the Mara, we're going to learn a lot more about all these animals, and that is one of the most fascinating and amazing things about being able to take you on a live safari in multiple places in Africa at the same time. Speaking of multiple places, Ellie's got Ellie's digging for water.
Well, still at Djuma with this beautiful young elephant that has been drinking for the last maybe 10-15 minutes. Okay, yes, I was talking about you. I thought maybe you were going to turn around and say hello to all of us. He's been digging up. It is still a bit of a mystery where the rest of the herd is. We haven't been able to see them while we've been sitting around with him. Every now and again we think we hear branches breaking in the distance, but maybe not. Maybe this youngster is just being a bit of a rebel and an independent one, so he wants to be on his own. I think though he maybe found a lot of gold in there. Oh, seems like the water is starting to finish up, because I think his head has been going deeper and deeper just to be able to get his trunk in a spot where he can suck up enough water up and then being able to drink it. Very clever little things. I love it when they come, and we are now in the Water. We were actually still looking for Tandy and Tam, and we decided to come into, well, the biggest drainage line of them all, to see if perhaps they had come around this way. But they weren't here, but to our beautiful surprise, we did find this Ellie on the road. So, pretty wonderful. We'll carry on checking all around, but I think this is a sight worth enjoying. Don't you guys think so? Ah, the elephant agrees. He said yes. That is wonderful, yes. Oh, look. Again. Are you happy to have us here? Come, do you yes one more time? No? Okay, maybe I pushed it too far. Typical boy. Now that we've asked him nicely, he doesn't want to do it anymore. Obviously, he's not answering my questions. I'm sure he's having a bit of a fight with the sand that's in the hole that he's been digging, just to try and get to the water underneath it. But it was quite funny while he was still helping us out and, helping our narrative. I think he was being quite polite. So thank you for that, Ellie. Yeah, you're welcome. I've been thinking that he was probably being done, because he's been drinking for quite a long time, but no. Are you done now? Think maybe somebody's done drinking. Think maybe too much water for you. And off you go. Well, I'm just gonna let him choose where he wants to go, and then maybe we'll see if we can find the rest of his herd. As I think it's still a long while. Alright, we're gonna see if perhaps we can find the rest of the herd, but in the meantime, let's go over to Byron and see what he's been up to.
Well, Ellie, I'm driving around at the moment, just seeing what else we can find. It's a lovely afternoon, beautiful golden light. The temperature is dropping, actually, substantially. I can't believe it. It's very cool, which is nice. And that's good news for us. Maybe some of the predators start moving around a little bit more earlier in the evening, I should say, rather than more. We haven't seemed to find anything else just yet while driving around. So that was great news with Brent having a leopard in the Mara. That's very exciting, and like I said, I think it's our first leopard sighting up there. I mean, yeah, I think so. Hey, folks, I haven't heard of anything else. No, it sounds like Crocodile Dundee has gone missing in the Mara, but Brent is still driving around, and he's now found some zebra.
Okay, well, there's been a massive arrival of zebras now. They've crossed the Mara River. I think they're a bit spooked. I think they've been chased by lions. I saw some lions earlier today. And now this male leopard has heard them. Oh, he's gone back to sleep. I thought he might, especially if there's a young zebra foal, would definitely be within his grasp. An adult zebra, probably just a bit too big for him. But there are lots of zebra, and they just keep streaming in. Now, we're just going to see what happens. Now, he's got up and moved when he's heard the zebras running through. And there we go, you can see them. And as I say, the time of plenty has arrived for the predators in the Masai Mara now. Look at that. He's still flat in the grass. Can you see him, Dave? You can't see him. Okay, how close is that car behind us? I'm just going to move slightly. How much reverse trim have I got, Dave? Is that all? So I'm just going to try always, what we always do is try to put ourselves in the best position to see everything that's happening at the same time. So the zebras are all moving through there, so I actually want to be behind him